So we're going to talk a little about some of the things that Tom teaches us, a little bit of his framework, but make sure to register for that masterclass. He could be charging several $100s for this, like an intensive masterclass, but you'll have the opportunity to observe, or you can sign up to actually perform and be coached and redirected by Tom. And you can talk about this a little bit, Brandon. Have you ever seen someone direct a scene or a monologue and so quickly turning it from like decent to good to out fucking standing?
Tom is the absolute best at doing that. In the summer intensive in New York, he was telling us about how he's been friends with Alexander Payne for a number of years, who directed Sideways, is an Oscar winner, and when he was watching Tom direct actors and watching the scene progress, he like bowed down to him and is like, "I will never be able to achieve what you do." And like,
Right.
so it's incredible to watch Tom take a scene from start to call back to booking level stuff. It's riveting, and I love watching it every week.
Right.
It's fantastic.
And one thing I would like to say about that is it's not something mystical or mythical about Tom himself. There's a little bit of that because he's just he's got great energy and he's lots of fun, but it's because he's codified or codified a framework, which is like a checklist or a lens of looking at all of his scenes and monologues or any performance that's based on the physics of performance and aspects of storytelling that just works every time. So it's not Tom just sprinkling his magic dust on it
Yeah.
and working from the gut or having a hunch. It's a methodical checklist, and it's 15 guideposts, 4 aspects of vocal variation, 6 viewpoints, the 3 tenets of acting, and the 3 techniques of acting. In a very brief nutshell, you could look at it at one page, and once you learn that technique, you can take that technique and transpose it onto any scene, any monologue. Could be a song, could be a musical performance, could be a speech. And one of the brilliant things about it is it'll make you a better director. Once I learned this stuff, I'll freely admit, when I was running self tapes before coming to Tom, to learn from Tom, there was many times where I would want to help actors and I just didn't know what to say or how to say it, or I didn't recognize really what was wrong with the scene. I knew, and wrong's a strong word, but there was times when it was a comedy, I always have good instincts, and to me, it's like if it's funny, it's funny. If it makes us laugh when we're doing it, it's probably going to work. So that I always had a sense for. But if it was something that you'd put more in the dramatic side of things, and one of Tom's lessons is there is no comedy and there is no drama. Everything is everything. So find comedy and drama, find drama and comedy. However, I was always able to, like, I had the good instincts from my comedy background, sketch and stand-up background. But when it was something that wasn't that, I would have the feeling helping someone behind the camera that this seems like it's falling flat, but I just didn't know how to articulate what was missing, what wasn't quite there, how to improve it. I would throw out the best of my ideas, and maybe I had an idea about a beat here or there. But now when we help an actor here at Actors Audition Club, I can immediately go through the guideposts and say, well, what's your relationship? What's the conflict? What are you fighting for? What's your moment before? Where have you find humor? Where did you find opposites? Where are you making discoveries? Where are you using communication and competition? You need to raise the importance. You need to find the events. Yes. You need to, what about the place? Where are you? Can you incorporate place? Is there some game playing and role playing? Is there some mystery and secret? Is there some mischief? Is there some vulnerability? And is there some architecture? And then I can look at vocal variation. We can look at viewpoints. So it's a very clear checklist, so that all of a sudden performance and performance art and good storytelling and great monologue and scene work isn't just this mystical, magical gut feeling where you got to be like using metaphors and describing, like, sometimes you get a director and they're doing their best, but their best is just like, well, it's kind of like that thing when when you're at that thing with your butt, like, and they're describing something in your life instead of meticulously pinpointing the physics of performance that are or that either aren't or are happening in the scene right now. So just the technique is consistent. You can duplicate it, and it applies to every type of scene, every type of performance. There's
Yeah,
never been.
so what you're saying is that when you do get a note that you don't quite understand, you're able to put it in a language that you do understand, and is that able to help you, right?
What? Well, yeah. If I'm well, I'm saying two things. One is when you learn it, you'll be a better actor and you'll be a better director. And I think every director should study with Tom because they'll be a better director. But also, yes, when you know it as an actor, this is going to sound maybe a little cocky, but once you train with Tom, you will be a better director than most directors you ever work with in your life. Because I'm going to just say it, most directors, unless they were an actor or they're theater based, if they're I don't want to say just a director for TV and film because it's a massive job and directors are brilliant, but sometimes not every director is equal in their ability to communicate and actually work with an actor and mold the performance. Sometimes a director is they're more the director that's working with the camera team and the DOP, and they're doing a brilliant job telling the story visually, but the performance is the performance, and maybe the director doesn't know how to influence it so much. But when you learn this technique, just your communication skills and being able to break down a scene, and yes, what you said, Brandon, is now when I get a direction from a director that is a little muddy, I can quickly translate it and be like, oh, what he means is the scene needs more architecture, or what he means is there needs to be a bigger discovery there, or I need to have a stronger relationship and infuse more love into this scene. So I, knowing the guideposts, can translate directions that maybe sometimes are a little fuzzy. And we've all, like, you've had these where a director will be like, they're doing their best describing metaphors, describing other movies, describing things. It's like this or it's like that. But then you still have to translate that and then turn that into something actionable. Whereas Tom will just say the thing that you need to do based on the framework of guidepost, vocal variation, viewpoints, tenets, and techniques. So, yeah,
Uh,
it's huge.
yeah, and I agree with you. But I think what it also does is it gives you a blueprint so that you don't need, you've already come in making choices.
Right,
You've already come in doing all that prep work and
right.
doing all that work beforehand. So the director doesn't even need to direct you.
And he
Uh,
shouldn't. And
no,
and most of the times they don't. It's
no,
like on most TV
because
and
they have
films.
other things they need to deal with, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. By the time you hear the old adage, 90% of directing is casting. It's like
Hmm.
they've cast you because of your choices in the audition.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's really not how it works. You don't show up and then be like, "How did you like that? Do you want me to do it this way or that way?" It's like, "Okay, move, move, move. We got to go. We got to go. We got to go. Okay, we got it. Okay,